When somebody says a certain character haunts the narrative, they're talking about a character, though having little to no presence within the majority of the story, carries such weight to create the story, to make a reason for doing what the main characters are doing. There are so many examples of this in media, but I'm Cheesus. I only like to talk about two things: the Adventure Zone and just roll with it. Let's look into the two characters. Two women that have very similar characteristics, but haunt the narrative in completely different ways. Lup and Ava Ferin. Of course, I am not comparing the writing of these two to each other, nor am I comparing one show to the other. Both are amazing in their own right. The Adventure Zone has been a show that I've loved for so long. I'm even a Max Fun member, so I get all that juicy boko like Elementary, Mercer, and the coveted Charlieverse.
Welcome, babies, to the Fruity Pebbles Castle of Torment, a scary castle with 100 rats.
Just Roll With It, and specifically Riptide, has such a rich story, great funny moments, and more importantly, it's back, so there's more content coming out. It would be completely unjust to compare the two stories in any way, shape, or form. That being said, the characters, Ava Ferin and Lup, have a couple of similarities that I would like to point out. Note, these comparisons are very base level and simple, but the fact that I, the most blind motherfucker to recognizing things, can see it means something, at least. The most obvious, they are both sisters to one of the main player characters. They both are self-reliant, independent, and headstrong. They both have very prevalent fire motifs, both symbolically and in their design. And of course, they both haunt the narrative. Where these two characters differ is the way they haunt their respective story, hence the whole point of this video. Let's start with Ava Ferin, elder sister to Conda Fiction's character Jay Ferin, an ex-naval captain. I say ex because she is dead. From the moment we first learn about her, she is already gone. And over the 118 episodes of Riptide so far, we know so much, yet so little about her. We only get glimpses of her actual personality in vignettes from both Jay and Lizzie. The majority of what we know about Ava is through her exploits from being in the Navy. I should say this is the majority of what I know about Ava. There's probably more information out there already, and there's probably more to come with Riptide! With Riptide being back. Also, this is the one time where the wiki is trustworthy. I know I rag on the JRWI a lot.
Oh, but the wiki says, why are you trusting the wiki?
But I know that there are people out there who care about it and are trying their damnedest effort to make it an actual source of information about this silly podcast we all love. Ava haunts the narrative in the classical sense, where her death is, for the most part, a mystery to her immediate family. Jay and her parents weren't even told about her death until sometime after it happened. They didn't even have a funeral for her. Worst of all, her death was ultimately used to propagate the Navy's wishes, more importantly lmao Ferin, of taking down the pirates and enforcing naval rule across Mana. I also have a little theory about how I think Ava's death was very planned because of how close she got with the Solar Mother visions or whatever, and now lmao is using them for vitality. But that's not the point of the video. I am never making another theory video again. Not after what happened last time. Anyway, Ava Ferin haunts the narrative, and they are super cool. Let's move on over to Lup. Lup is an interesting character, to say the absolute least. To be honest, she is one of my favorite characters from TAZ Balance alone, not only because she is a hot trans Betty, but she's also so well written and fits into Taco's story perfectly. She doesn't take away or go above and beyond. The reveal of Taco having a sister to begin with is built up very well in my mind. Please note, I got into the Avenger Zone in 2019 when Amnesty was finishing up. Very, very late to the train, so I don't know what the fandom culminated opinion on that was, but to me, I liked it. I like it. Like her brother, she is very blunt about how she feels about things and other people. I'm looking at you, Greg Gromaldus. She's very witty and can be an ass at times, but also cares about the other 6 occupants of the Star Blaster with her whole heart, especially her brother and the denim menace himself, Barry Blue Jeans. Blup jeans for life. How she haunts the narrative, however, is in a very abstract way. Notably, she's not dead, technically. I mean, she is a lich, which is undead, but she isn't dead in the traditional way someone would be in cases of haunting the narrative. One way she haunts the narrative is by her actions with making the Phoenix Fire Gauntlet. By this definition, you could also say even the PCs haunt the narrative. They also made the grand relics that plague the world they happen to stumble upon, and by becoming borderline amnesiacs, they can't connect the dots properly back to themselves. That would be a very valid point. But in Lup's case, it is doubled upon because she is trapped in the Umbra Staff. For those who are not acquainted with the Adventure Zone lore, the Umbra Staff was one of the weapons the Star Blaster crew created before they found the final plane of existence that the story of Balance takes place in. The staff itself is literally an umbrella, but it can be used as an arcane focus, a completely innocuous magical weapon, with the added bonus of being able to absorb the arcane focus of other magical users that have been defeated in battle. What happens to Lup is simple. She was looking for a place to keep her gauntlet of mass destruction away from people who would misuse it after numerous towns have been flattened to a solid obsidian disc with the help of Cyrus Rockseeker. Unfortunately, the help became enthralled by the relic and literally stabbed her in the back with a poison-tipped dagger. She did luckily trap Cyrus in the vault, but she had been defeated. So when her lich form, the pure essence of her arcane ability, emerges from her dead body, the Umbra Staff did what the Umbra Staff was built to do, and ate her. So she was there the entire time, constantly there to bear witness to the destruction she so desperately wanted to avoid, but also watching her brother and closest friends fix it and eventually save the world from the hunger. Their century-long mission finally achieved. Ava Ferin and Lup, 2 prominent figures in their own respective stories that haunt the narrative in vastly different ways. I don't know how else to put it. I think I said it as eloquently as I ever could. I just think it's interesting that Lup and Ava are very similar, at least in my eyes. I would like to think about a crossover of these two. Like one of those therapy meeting type memes where the banner says haunting the narrative and it's Lup and Ava and I don't know, I can't think of a third character that is a sister who haunts a narrative that also has a fire motif. But think about it. Thank you for watching the video. Updates. I got nothing specific. Thank you for 350 subscribers. That's crazy to me, specifically. Yeah, you're all cool. Thank you. Awesome. And a happy new year. I don't know.